For as long as we have told stories, we have dreamed of talking with animals. Legends are filled with heroes who could understand the whispers of the wind and the songs of the whales. This was once the realm of myth and magic. But today this ancient dream is meeting modern science. We are standing at a fascinating crossroads. Scientists around the world are asking a profound question. Can we bridge the gap between species? Can we truly understand what another creature is thinking or feeling? The quest to talk to animals is no longer just a fantasy. It has become one of the most exciting frontiers of scientific discovery, pushing the boundaries of what we believe is possible. To begin this journey, we must first understand what communication truly is. For humans, language is a complex tapestry of words, grammar, and syntax. It allows us to speak of the past, plan for the future, and share abstract ideas. But is this the only form of communication that matters? Animals communicate all the time. They use a rich and varied orchestra of signals to navigate their world. A dog's wagging tail, a cat's purr, a bird's intricate song. These are not random noises or movements. They are messages carrying vital information about danger, food, territory, and the desire to connect with another being. The fundamental difference lies in complexity and abstraction. Human language is symbolic. The word river is not the river itself, it is a symbol we all agree upon. Animal communication for the most part is what we call indexical. A prairie dog's alarm call is directly linked to the presence of a predator right now. It is a signal about the immediate reality, not a discussion about the philosophy of fear. This distinction is crucial. It tells us that we are not looking for an animal version of English or Spanish. Instead, we are trying to decipher a completely different kind of language, one spoken through scent, posture, sound, and vibration. Consider the prairie dog. These small creatures have one of the most sophisticated communication systems we have ever observed in the animal kingdom. Their high-pitched chirps are not just simple alarms. Research has shown they can describe the type of predator, a hawk, a coyote, a human. They can even specify the predator's size, shape, and color. They can communicate if the threat is approaching quickly or slowly. This is not just noise. This is detailed, life-saving information. It is a language, just one that is spoken in a dialect we are only now beginning to understand, one syllable at a time. When we listen to the ocean, we hear the waves. But beneath the surface, there is a symphony of clicks, whistles, and calls. Dolphins, for instance, have a complex vocal system. They use signature whistles, which act much like names, allowing them to identify and call out to specific individuals in their pod. This is a remarkable feat, a form of personal identity expressed through sound. Scientists have spent decades recording these whistles, trying to map out the social networks of these intelligent marine mammals. They are not just making noise, they're having conversations, maintaining relationships, and coordinating their actions, all hidden beneath the blue veil of the sea. Animals also speak with their bodies. The language of gesture and posture is universal across the kingdom of life. A wolf that lowers its head and tucks its tail is sending a clear message of submission to the pack leader. A honeybee performs a waggle dance to tell its hive mates the precise direction and distance to a newly discovered patch of flowers. This is not just a dance, it is a map, a set of instructions encoded in movement. Understanding these physical signals is as important as deciphering sounds. It requires us to watch, to observe, and to see the world from a perspective that is not our own. But how do we move from simple observation to true understanding? This is where our most powerful new tools come into play. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are revolutionizing the study of animal communication. Scientists can now feed thousands of hours of audio recordings, from the deep calls of elephants to the complex songs of humpback whales, into powerful computer programs. These algorithms are designed to find patterns that the human ear might miss. They can sort, categorize, and even begin to predict the meaning of different sounds, much like a codebreaker searching for a key. One of the most ambitious efforts is Project SETI, a large-scale attempt to understand the language of sperm whales. These whales communicate using a series of clicks called codas. For years, the meaning of these codas was a mystery, but by using advanced machine learning, researchers are starting to build a dictionary of whale communication. They are discovering the phonetics and grammar of these deep-sea conversations. The goal is not just to listen, but to understand the context. What are the whales talking about? Are they sharing hunting strategies? Are they telling stories? The answers are still elusive, but for the first time we have the technology to ask the question. Armed with this new technology, we are not just listening anymore, we are trying to talk back. This is where the science fiction dream meets experimental reality. You may have seen videos of dogs using soundboards. These boards are fitted with buttons, and each button is programmed with a word like outside, play, or hungry. Some dogs, like the famous bunny, have learned to press these buttons to form what appear to be simple sentences. Is this true language? The debate is ongoing. Skeptics argue the dogs are simply associating a button with a reward, but others believe it represents a genuine attempt to express specific desires. The effort to engage in two-way communication is not limited to our canine companions. For decades, researchers have worked with parrots, birds known for their ability to mimic human speech. The case of Alex, an African gray parrot studied by Dr. Irene Pepperberg, remains a landmark. Alex could not only identify more than 100 objects, he could also understand concepts like same and different. He could count. He could even combine words in novel ways. On one occasion, upon seeing a new food, an apple, he called it a bannery, a combination of banana and cherry. This was not just mimicry, it was creative thought. The next frontier may lie in reading minds directly. Scientists are developing brain-computer interfaces for animals. These devices could, in theory, translate neural activity into understandable concepts. Imagine knowing what a monkey is seeing or what a rat is thinking as it navigates a maze. This technology is in its infancy, and it raises profound ethical questions, but it offers a potential pathway to communication that bypasses the need for sound or gesture entirely. It could be the most direct line of communication we have ever had with another species, a silent conversation between minds. However, the challenges we face are immense. Every species has its own unique sensory world and its own way of communicating. The language of a dolphin, which relies on sound traveling through water, is fundamentally different from the scent-based language of an ant. We cannot expect a single universal translator to work for all animals. Furthermore, collecting enough data is a monumental task. To truly understand a language, you need a massive data set. And even with all the data in the world, we face the biggest hurdle of all, the problem of consciousness. Do animals possess the kind of abstract thought required for a true conversation? We simply do not know. As we get closer to deciphering animal communication, we must confront deep ethical questions. If we can understand what an animal is saying, what are our responsibilities? If a pig in a factory farm can express fear or sadness, does that change our obligation to it? If we learn that whales have a rich cultural history passed down through generations, how does that affect our duty to protect them from the noise and dangers of our ships? The ability to understand brings with it a greater moral weight. We would no longer be able to claim ignorance. The conversations we have about animal welfare would be forever changed. The very act of trying to communicate with animals has its own ethical minefield. Are we respecting their autonomy? When we fit an animal with a tracker or a brain implant, are we causing it undue stress for the sake of our own curiosity? The goal must be to listen, not to impose our own ways of thinking onto them. We must be careful that our quest for knowledge does not become a form of exploitation. The voices of other animals have been there all along. We are the ones who have not been listening. The ethical path forward requires humility and respect for the creatures with whom we share this planet. So, can we really talk to animals? The answer for now is no. Not in the way we talk to each other. The idea of having a philosophical debate with a dolphin or discussing the weather with your dog remains firmly in the realm of science fiction. The biological and cognitive gulf between us is simply too vast to bridge with our current technology. A true fluid conversation requires a shared understanding of the world, a shared way of thinking that we may never have with another species. It is a humbling realization of our own place in the grand scheme of life. But this does not mean the quest is a failure. Far from it. We are learning more about the minds of animals than ever before. We are beginning to decode the incredible complexity of their social lives and their inner worlds. We may never have a conversation with a whale, but we might one day understand their songs. We might not talk to a dog, but we can learn to understand its needs and desires with greater clarity. We are at the beginning of a new era of understanding, one where we are learning to be better listeners. And in learning to listen to them, we may learn more about ourselves.